Some people think Simpsons Season 7 is not part of the Golden Age, thinking that the quality of the show after Season 6 went off a cliff, and nothing good came after it. I like to think these people are fools. While it doesn't have as many great episodes like Season 6, it has more great episodes than most seasons before that. Admittedly, there are more mediocre episodes in this season than others, but there are plenty of solid episodes from start to finish. Now let's talk in depth on the season, before getting to the best episodes. But before we get started, I'd like to give a shout out to our patrons. If you like our videos and want to support us, the link is in the description below. Thank you. The start of Season 7 is very interesting, as it is the conclusion to the cliffhanger Who Shot Mr. Burns. I remember when I was little, there was a lot of buzz about who did it. Fun fact, when my family first watched it, we all took guesses on who did it. And me, trying to be funny, chose what I thought was a dumb and obviously wrong answer. So I said, the baby did it. And when it turned out it was actually Maggie, everyone in the room was shocked that I was actually right. So I correctly guessed who shot Mr. Burns, by choosing the dumbest answer I could think of. Besides this iconic episode, there are plenty of memorable moments in this season. We have Bart selling his soul, the Planet of the Apes musical, Lisa becoming a vegetarian, the Pin Pals, Homer vs. George Bush, Marge's fancy suit, Homer's Moo Moo, the flying hellfish, the debut of Homer's mother, Mona Simpson, Bone Storm, Jebediah Springfield actually being a pirate, a noble spirit and Biggins the smallest man, Krusty faking his death, and last but not least, steamed hams. Let's talk about the episode for a moment. It's from 22 short films about Springfield. I personally love the episode just for the concept of it. Instead of a typical episode following around a member of the Simpsons family, it briefly follows around numerous citizens of Springfield, all on the same day. I remember reading that they planned to do a spin-off series that we never got, called Springfield. It would follow around different Springfield residents every episode. And if it was anything like this episode, I think it was a shame we never got it. Though, it's not out of place that they make episodes focus on other characters outside the family, so the loss is not as bad as it could have been. Although while this was a solid episode, it will not make my top 3 list, because several of the segments were rather mediocre. If it had 22 segments as good as Steamed Hams, it would be one of the best episodes ever. Sadly, that would be hard to accomplish. So the episode is good, but not top 3. Now let's talk about some of the shortcomings of the season. We'll begin with King-Sized Homer, the episode where Homer gains weight to go on disability and work from home. While the Moo Moo outfit is memorable, the majority of the episode is one giant fat joke that gets old early and lasts way too long. Another memorable but weak episode is Lisa the Vegetarian. Lisa being a vegetarian is one of the most memorable facts of the character, along with her being smart and a Buddhist. Unfortunately, Lisa's a massive jerk in this episode. It's one of the preachy Lisa episodes, where she tries to force her release on others, and gets angry at those who disagree with her. However, it's not like Bart and Homer are acting reasonable. Everyone just looked bad in this one, except Apu. Although, he did bring Paul McCartney and his wife into the episode. Now with the lesser episodes out of the way, let's talk about the great episodes. Without further ado, here are my top 3 episodes of Simpsons Season 7. Number 3 is Treehouse of Horror VI. This is one of the few Treehouse episodes without a bad segment. The first segment is Attack of the 50-Foot Eyesores, where Homer steals Lard Lad's donut, causing the mascot to come alive, along with many other mascots around town. That proceeds to wreak havoc across Springfield, with Lard Lad confronting Homer to get his donut back. Marge urges Homer to give it back so this will all end, which he relents and returns it. Unfortunately, this just gives Lard Lad a weapon. They do eventually defeat the mascots, by getting the town to stop paying attention to them, causing them all to lose sentience. The next segment is Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace, where groundskeeper Willie is Freddy Krueger. This is one of the only parody segments that isn't absolute garbage. This is also an actually scary segment, with some rather gruesome deaths. I also love that after they defeat Willie, they say he can appear anywhere again, and he just shows up on a bus, leaving his gun on the seat. The last segment is Homer Cubed. This is where Homer is trapped in a 3D pocket dimension. While it comes off more like a tech demo instead of a Treehouse segment, it was very visually interesting to see. Even decades later, I still think the graphics hold up, and it shows them trying different and unique things, which I appreciate. Overall, it was a great episode with 3 solid segments, and it's definitely one of the best Treehouse episodes ever. Number 2 is Marge Be Not Proud. This episode is about Bart wanting the violent video game Bone Storm, which an opportunity occurs for him to steal it, which he does, and almost immediately gets caught by the store detective Don Brodka, one of the best one-time characters of all time. After getting caught, he gets banned from the try and save, which is no issue for him. I mean, why would Bart ever need to go to the store, right? Right? So Bart has to go to the store, as the family is going to get their Christmas picture taken. He tries to disguise himself, but Marge prevents it, pleading to Bart for one good family picture, since he always ruins them, which he agrees. As they get to the store, Bart tries to hide from Brodka. Unfortunately, as the picture is taken, he is caught by Brodka, who exposes his crime to Marge. Which the episode really does a good job at showing Marge's disappointment in Bart. She actually blames herself for what he did, and decides to stop treating him like a child. This causes a lot of mental turmoil for Bart, to the point he seeks motherly treatment from Mrs. Van Houten. Which right before that happens, he gets in a fight with Milhouse over a cup and ball, after he is offered Bone Storm and doesn't want it. He eventually returns home, hiding something in his jacket, which Marge confronts him about, and we learn that Marge sadly spends 23 hours a day in the house. When she catches Bart, she discovers a nice picture of him for her, which makes her really happy, and she frames it on their family picture, giving the family a Merry Christmas. I really enjoyed seeing Marge actually react to Bart's bad actions, and Bart actually feeling guilt for what he's done. Usually he's depicted as unapologetic hellraiser, and it was nice to see him act like a real person and have remorse. This is a great, emotionally deep episode. And Don Brodka is the best. And now we get to number 1. And the best episode of Simpsons Season 7 is Summer of 4 featuring 2. This episode starts with the last day of school, where we see Milhouse eagerly waiting for the bell to ring. And when it does, he springs up in glee and says, "Up yours, Krabappel," and runs out of the classroom. Then we learn it was the bell to the start of the day. I really didn't need to tell you this part, as all it does was inform you that summer was starting. But I just love this beginning, and mad respect to Milhouse, saying what I never had the guts to say to a teacher. Legend. So we then see Lisa in yearbook club, with what looks to be a girl group of nerdy friends, where she is the leader. But we learn that's not a thing, apparently. I guess screw you too, BZ. Lisa tries to hand out yearbooks nice and orderly, but Nelson's not about that life, and tosses books out to everyone. After that, we see kids saying their goodbyes and signing yearbooks, but Lisa can't get a single signature. This is why you girls aren't friends. We then find out that Flanders can't use his beach house because of jury duty, so he offers it to Homer, which he needs to sweeten the pot by looking at their septic tank. Which I just realized, that's not mud. For this trip, Marge says Bart can invite Milhouse, and Lisa can invite a friend too. But Lisa has no friends, because BZ deserves nothing. She then decides to reinvent herself on this trip, leading her to pack nothing for it. So Marge takes her shopping for new clothes, and we get one of the most classic looks for Lisa. It's time for Cool Lisa. Cool Lisa proceeds to roam the town looking for kids, to no avail, and thinks they all dished her in advance. That is until she hears a group of kids under the boardwalk. She tries to approach them, but a bird gets in the way. We then learn she intends to control the bird someday. Crazy, but I love it. She then casually says hey to the kids, playing it cool. But the girl of the group says she likes her hat, and Lisa jumps on the opportunity. She learns they can't skateboard because the cops keep taking their boards. So Lisa tells them of a place that's abandoned where they can skate, the library. And Lisa is now in. We see her chilling with her new friends at the library, when Bart finds them and tries to show off how cool he is. But they think he's trying too hard and are not interested. Bart leaves dejected and blames Milhouse for it, thinking they saw him and ruined it. After this, we see Lisa on the beach with her friends, where she comes off too nerdy talking about hermit crabs. But she plays it off saying she learned it from Baywatch. Crisis averted. In the morning, we see Homer trying to buy illegal fireworks, and tries to play it cool about asking. So he buys a porno mag, condoms, whiskey, panty shields, and 2 disposable enemas. When Marge sees what he bought, she says she doesn't know what he's planning, but count her out. Unknowingly to her, he got himself what looks like a freaking bomb of a firework, that he unfortunately burns too much of the wick, and ruins the plumbing. We then see Lisa having a beach party with her friends. Then Bart shows up, with her yearbook, showing her friends how much of a nerd she is, causing her to run off crying. After that, we see Bart and Lisa at the breakfast table, with Bart feeling proud of himself, while Lisa wants to kill him. They then have a back and forth spat at a carnival, which Bart unfortunately wins, causing Lisa to walk home just broken, until she hears her old friends doing something in the shadows. She tells them to just get whatever mean thing they're planning over with, so she can go to bed, but is pleasantly surprised when she sees what they actually did. Homer, however, is not as thrilled. In the end, we see the family head back home, where Bart tells Lisa he showed her friends her yearbook again, to Lisa's dismay, until she looks inside and sees this. That was one of the sweetest moments I can remember on The Simpsons. This was a great episode just for the plot alone, but they really bring the jokes in it as well. The only downside to it was what I mentioned before. If you're trying to depict Lisa without any friends, don't show her with a group of kids that look like her friends. They could easily replace these characters with Martin Prince and Milhouse, and it would have worked. But this didn't really take away from the episode. It's still easily the best episode of Simpsons Season 7. If you have a different opinion on this season, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until then, make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.